All right, we are live. What's going on, everybody? I hope everybody's having a blessed weekend and getting ready for an exciting trading week this week. Amazing gap up today on the ES, so up 17 points, 53 points on the Nasdaq, 158 so far on the Dow futures. Pretty incredible stuff. Let me actually get this tweeted out here so everybody sees this. 1 second. Good. Yeah, so really amazing stuff. Another just real quick thank you to all new subscribers to the newsletter. That came out today. Hopefully everybody found some great value in that. It was some pretty good perspectives on some different aspects of the market. Definitely looked into SPX, but let's look at the ES right here. So we gap up pretty handily. We gap and then push, and then now we're dealing with some volumetric levels here on the ES, and so these are actually daily ES daily levels in the volumetric. We'll talk to that in a little bit as today's topic unfolds. So let's see how we hold this resistance right here. We're kind of going into a little bit of cloud area right here. So let's see how we hold this throughout the night. So it should be pretty interesting. Let's take a look at SPX and how that traded throughout the week last week, and particularly on Friday. So we know that pretty much through the entire week from the 25th. So from Monday it was looking pretty interesting, right? Pretty choppy really actually. So had a nice gap up and then it pushed down, which got scary for a minute, then came back up inside day, and then we took the inside day up on Friday. So looks like we're probably going to be gapping up again tomorrow. In general, I've had a pretty bullish sentiment here on the market, so we'll see where that puts us tomorrow. How if we touch these high levels again, this 2860, that's going to be kind of a major area of resistance. So let me actually just put a line up there right now, just so we can all pay attention to that as while day trading. So let me edit properties there, make that red, just to show it's a bit of a resistance there. On the daily for the SPX. So other than that, we're going in tomorrow. We have the new pivot levels are out there for the for subscribers. But let's just go take a look at the levels from Friday. So what we were looking at on the Friday levels. So basically it was a pretty choppy day for most of the day. We did have a gap up, right, and then eventually tagged this floor pivot level R2. Came down, tagged R1, back up around death cross on the 510 MA, all the way down to these this weekly level, volumetric level here, and then it's kind of chopped around a lot for the rest of the day, and eventually had a pretty big push up at the end there. So all in all, pretty interesting. Everything has been looking pretty bullish. So we'll see if we get any follow through tomorrow, or if we let's take a look at our levels for tomorrow, April 1st. Okay, so tomorrow we're going to be looking at this 2840 level is going to be a level above, which is not impossible, right? This SPX has been trailing the ES by about 5 points, so that's about 10 points there, and then we have 5 points here is roughly 2851. So we might hit the R2 level tomorrow, and if it gets really crazy, we might hit the weekly resistance level here. So we have a couple levels to deal with tomorrow. If we gap up over like in this area, I would imagine that we fade a little bit at some point. So we'll look and see what kind of candles set up there, and kind of lead those into tomorrow. So so that is a quick overview of the market. So one of the ones I mentioned on Twitter too that was really setting up, and I was tweeting out in the game plan a few times, just didn't get a chance to get to it on Friday, but nice fallen wedge pattern here with Google into let me show you on the daily chart here real quick. Let me just check in here, make sure everything is functioning. Okay, good. Yeah, so we had a nice falling wedge pattern here in Google, and just hurts that I didn't catch this because we've been tracking it. It's been on the game plan as a long idea as we've been dealing with these channels. We had a channel lecture last week talking about trend channels, horizontal channels, Keltner channels, everything, right? So we saw this wedge breakdown here. We had this nice bar, look at that nice green bar here coming out of the wedge right there. So that would have been a good one to swing over the weekend, and then clearly, hindsight of course is 2020, but this will probably gap up like 10-15 points tomorrow, and it might get a nice run all the way to the top of the channel eventually. eventually. Obviously, nothing goes in a straight line, right? But it might come down, pull back, move up in a nice wave pattern. But wow, that was a pretty big miss right there. So, but that's okay. As long as we learn from those. So, it's better than missing this one because we were in this one here, CMG, right? So, I mean, pretty incredible stuff. I mean, we caught this pennant here. Nice move to the upside, pulled back to the Fibonacci fan line, caught this pennant here, right? Nice push to the upside, and then who would have thought that it just would have moved like this all the way from 100 points on CA. Just incredible move right there. So, I mean, honestly, it still looks bullish. So, I mean, obviously minor pullbacks might be buyable on it, but it is still a little tricky to trade. So, it's hard to catch the continued move here, but right now it's still moving up that this linear regression median line. So it will be interesting to see how high this thing can go. So we shall see on that. Not too worried about the overbought conditions here because things can go to all new highs for a very long time and stay overbought for a while. So they were overbought here for quite a while, but it is a good indicator if you can see negative divergence on it. Occasionally you can catch a something like that. In the future, right? We want to see it cross into here though at some point. But here we go. So that's Chipotle. So today's conversation, I just want to talk. We've been talking a lot about floor pivot levels and volumetric levels, and they are really good to trade with. I mean, they really are. And you guys, when I do chart requests, I kind of go right to this and take a look. And so because it's important to see, right? It's important to see where you hear a lot of stuff. I think the big buzzwords I've been hearing a lot on Twitter has been supply zones and demand zones, and really all it is support and resistance, just used another word that like up here. I mean, obviously prices move by supply and demand, right? So, but if there's enough demand, right, it's going to keep going up, and then if there's too much supply, it'll go down, right? It's kind of like simple economic theory type stuff. But you hear that either way: support, resistance, supply, demand, whatever your words are for it. The reality is that these are levels, right, where there is a heavy volume, and or there's volume breaks, and these are naturally these levels here, these yellow lines on top, bottom, and the red line. That's automatically built in here in Thinkorswim. So if you don't have Thinkorswim, it's cool. You just kind of have to estimate it based on your volume profile levels, right? So as soon as you put a volume profile up, you can have these channels, kind of basically built in, which is great. So this upper level right here shows where volume kind of finishes, right? There's no real supply up here, right, at these levels. Why? Because we're at all-time highs, right? There's no volume up there. So it would have to be fresh new buyers, right? Fresh money coming in there. Now, obviously, there's some stops up here and all that stuff. So if those get taken out, right, it'll push the market higher as well, and some volume will come in, right? So, but these are key levels, right? So, so we talk about that a lot. We talk about using those as support and resistance zones when trading intraday. And so, what we can do is we can use these levels not only to use as support and resistance zones, but this is sort of a bubblehead special, right? You really won't see this anywhere else because I've never seen it anywhere else. But I was just kind of playing around. My good buddy Clayton, we were talking about a couple of these levels, and kind of threw up some Fibonacci lines just to kind of see what they did based on these volume levels. And so, if you just kind of want to show you guys real quick that you can use these intraday. Now, this is a daily chart of the SPY, right? You won't be able to see these volume levels on SPX because SPX doesn't have volume. But if we just draw just a regular kind of retracement line here, right, between the volumetric levels, right, you'll start to see that they do correspond with other points of interest on the S&P, right? So you can see here just from these volumetric levels, the 78.6% has been significant, right? It's been a level here, it's shown as support here, then it was resistance here, obviously a little overshoot, right? But here, and then now we're just above it right now. So pretty interesting stuff. Another thing too is you can see other levels, right? The 50% retracement of those volumetric lines. You have, here, right? This came down to 38.2. So you can see these levels are really playing 23.6, right? So you can see this playing out between those levels. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind. I also want to show you. Let me remove that. If we go to the 5-day 5-minute, so for intraday type stuff, you can use this with extensions as well. So let's just take a look at this here. So, right, we have all these levels here. So what I'll do is you do it a couple different ways, but first I go from the bottom of the volumetric level to the top and then extend it all the way back to here, okay? So what that does is it shows you, potential points of support and resistance in the future, right? So obviously we're gapping above the 1.68. Okay, so let me remove that. So that's one thing to look at. Another one here. You can go up to this volumetric level here and come back to the other volumetric level here, and then see what we're looking at. Okay, so we just retrace to there and extend from there. So here we had the Friday's high was the 61.8% retracement, right? And look what it did. It came all the way down after hours, but it tagged that volumetric level here. And now where are we at? We're at the 100% retracement. So tomorrow, depending on how bullish we are, maybe we'll hit that 286 level. That's not such a horrible place to conceive of pushing farther, just based on these Fibonacci levels. So I think it's pretty interesting. I wanted to show you a couple other examples. I was just looking at Wells Fargo recently. Let me look at, I think when I was charting it had an expansion, big push below its 50-day moving average. So that was kind of interesting. If we go to the 1 day again here, let me create a new drawing set to remove all the old drawings. Let's call that clear. There. Okay, so here's Wells Fargo. Okay, and this is just an example. I was just kind of toying with it earlier before the video. And so here, right, we had this volumetric channel. Okay, and I thought this was pretty interesting as well. Let's go to the extensions here to here. Okay, and watch as we go up, we start to see, boom, look at that. So a full Fibonacci extension from volumetric channel to volumetric. Look where it did it. That's where the bottom was, the 161.8% retracement for Wells Fargo before it made a major reversal. Pretty amazing stuff. Now, it's not all magic, right? I mean, it's these volumetric levels are actual levels of prices in the past, right? I mean, because there was heavy volume there, right? So there was a pivot here, right? So these levels are real levels in history. So if we go, a little bit farther back, let's go 3 years, right? It's going to change it slightly, but you can still see that we had these levels that were significant, here. So if I extend this to the left, for instance, where we were, sorry, extend to the left. Can I not do this? Extend to the left. My eyes are not. Okay, for some reason I'm not seeing it. It's not letting me extend it. Maybe if I edit properties. Extension is on. Okay, no big deal. But you guys can kind of see here, we had a level here, right? Volume here, right? So these are all. It makes sense that these are volumetric levels, right? So, you could have drawn, for instance, the extension from, here to. Actually, it's kind of hard to see, but these do help, right? So these do add. Instead of going back and trying to find important pivot points, it kind of does it for you automatically, and then you can draw your Fibonacci levels on them. So that's just one example there of finding a bottom on Wells Fargo. Let's just check real quick and see if we could have determined the top on that from back here. Obviously, these change dynamically, so it's not 100% accurate. So, but let's just see. So we're here, right? Okay, there. Right, it did kind of give a key level here off of this level. Held here as a support and then broke down. And then I looked at another one. I looked at Twitter. If we just go back to the 5-day 5-minute, let me go to clear. Okay, and let's just go back to these levels. This is your 5-day 5-minute, and then we'll go back to the daily and then wrap up with that. So, so here, if we just do regular retracement. Right, let's see. And then anytime you can find confluence lines with the other volumetric zones. So if for instance the 78.6 was with this volumetric zone here, that would be a significant level. Let me go to the daily. Remove. Okay. Here. All right. So if we go. Extensions. Obviously, this doesn't really. This doesn't really help looking in the past, but it does show you that there are relationships of all these levels, right? So, here. Let's see, where were we? Here, this 28.6. You can see it came down from I mean, not perfectly here, but the 261.8%, extension area, all in those levels. So, some pretty significant stuff. It's pretty interesting, and you saw too with the SPY, right? Just go back to the SPY just to kind of wrap up. I'm pretty sure here. So let's see. We hit the daily. So I want just reiterate this down, right here to this volumetric line right here, and that brought us the 168% here on the SPY too. So pretty cool stuff. So not only are volumetric levels great for trading intraday, right, for finding those volume levels to look for pivot points, but combining it with Fibonacci can be a tool that we can add to our tool belt for finding possible areas of support and resistance in the future. So hope that helps. And at this point, if anybody has any questions or chart requests, please feel free to plug those in the chat window, and we'll get through as many as we can before hopefully 10 o'clock so we can all get a good night rest. And yeah, hopefully that all came through pretty clear here. Yep. Let's get that. Okay, I'm not seeing the chat box for some reason. It is not showing up. Live chat. Oh, that's weird. It was it had two different. I had top chat live. It must have changed something with YouTube. Okay, cool. So I can see everybody now. Prayer Kid, what's going on, buddy? Good to see you. Jielu, hello. How are you? Harvey, what's going on, buddy? Good to see you. Call Saul. BH, looking forward to Monday, of course, because it's a trading day. Can we look at BA and NVIDIA? And if we have time, please. Thank you, sir. Yes, of course. My pleasure. So let's take a look at Boeing. So if you guys are a subscriber to the newsletter, and I appreciate all new subscribers. I'm not going to give away too much stuff, but we did analyze Boeing in the newsletter. Let me do a create new drawing set here. There, okay. So I want to give out too much of the secrets of the newsletter. Oh no, there's more. Let's see, create drawing set there. Boom, 2. Okay, there we go. So anyway, we've been analyzing Boeing in the subscription service with the newsletter, and just very interesting. Before we had this huge gap down, right? The weekly chart, bearish engulfing candle, not a good place where you want to be long, right? Gap down, kind of a shooting star type pattern here. Then we have this momentum bar here, which looked like it could push to the downside, but it never triggered, right? And so at this point, it's starting to take out this level, right? Which I like to call a tail fail, and so that often can give, right, you have to think if anybody's shorting here on the weekly bar, you got a lot of stops right there, and that was just getting taken out on Friday. So with the market gapping up, Boeing might push with it. Anybody who is short kind of in this area may start to cover, and then Boeing could actually get pretty strong. And if Boeing gets strong and comes out with some good news too, that could end up pushing the market a bit higher as well. NVIDIA, we analyze in the newsletter. We go through in detail all the different FANG stocks, and so I really do like the NVIDIA inside week. So we'll pay attention to those levels here on a break to the upside. We are seeing a very similar to Google, right, which is starting to break out. We had some pretty bullish activity here in NVIDIA on Friday. We've got a symmetrical triangle, so it could get a potential break there to the upside. But just use caution, right? If it fails to the downside, right, we could take the inside week down and start to maybe possibly test kind of this cloud area. So hopefully that is helpful there. NetFry, what's going on? Futures green, looks like a nice week. So far, so good, NetFry, so that should be good. Prayer Kid, seems like I open up a can of worms with the floor pivot conversation, but there are good and can really help new traders. No, yeah, man, it's great. I'm glad we brought it up and are talking about it. I mean, it's just, it is their key levels, and I think they can help anybody, right? And you can use them on any ticker, but they're great to use on SPX, or you can use them on the futures. As long as you're consistent with them, know that they're potential levels of reversal. I just think it's good with anything. One indicator or one signal alone is not necessarily enough to take a trade, right? So you want it to be to find confluence with something else where you can gain more confidence in taking a setup. So like just say for instance like SPX on Friday. Maybe Friday's not the best example because it was so choppy, but if we go back and look at the pivots from Friday, we can see here, right, So we had this R1 level on Friday was right here with the cloud, right? So we came down, we hit this this cloud resistance area, and then we broke back through the R1 level. So here you have multiple red bars in a row. You have a nice reversal bar, not a horrible place to go long because it was right at R1, and then boom, you get a move from 28, 23 all the way up to 23, 28. I mean, it's going to pay a few bills with that type of move, right? So pretty strong, and that precedes, right? Your moving averages, right? Because your moving averages are lagging indicators, right? So the reversal is already done, and right now the 5 MA is just kind of crossing over the 10, kind of after the move is over almost, right? So using those levels is definitely helpful, and then combining it with like say the cloud, things like that, is pretty helpful. And then just kind of watching the general move, right? The fact that it's just lower than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. The 15th bar here, is basically pretty low. Something to kind of pay attention to. So, when combining those type of things with these levels, I think can really help, traders of all ages. So, Shirley, what's going on? Good to see you. Netfry, Baidu, any hope? Well, I heard a rumor. Golly, the ES is up almost 20 points. Goodness gracious. You'd think that we had a trade deal. So let's see. Yeah, I mean, if there is a trade deal, there is hope for Baidu. Now, Baidu's has been getting destroyed, right, as you obviously know. It was kind of been on, if we go to the weekly chart here, it's been on my long radar for a while for potential, right, because when we closed below the Bollinger Bands here and we had the oversold conditions on the RSI on the weekly, it really looked like it was going to start to push up. But look what it did. It held that volumetric level there, resistance, and kind of came back in. Now, I mean, really is, if you want to kind of see what it's doing down here, it is kind of putting in a bit of a triangle here, right? So yeah, I would say there is hope. If it can break, I would want to see it over this 176 and a quarter, and then get some some push to the upside. So yeah, so there is some potential with it, but it has been getting beaten up for a very long time. So maybe it's time for a recovery at this point. But good catch on that one, Nifry. Shirley, what's going on? BB. Baidu. All right, so cool. That's Baidu, and then, good. That's B. Lots of B's tonight, right? All right, so wow, amazing move on BlackBerry, right? So this was did this happen on Friday? Yeah, awesome. That is going on the 30 orb list. Thanks for bringing that up, Shirley. Let me add that to the watch list for. Or the game plan for tomorrow. Gives us something to look at for a 30 orb. Okay. And yeah, so I mean, huge move. Look where it did. It came right all the way up to that volumetric line. Kind of came back in a little bit, so let's just see how it holds that level. So that level is obviously pretty key. So 1031, 1035, and then from there, I think your levels are looking pretty sharp. 1043 would be ideal, like you said. So that looks good. Cake. Yep, looking very strong. Nice moves here. Nice push up. Maybe look for a little bit of a pullback and then a bounce there, and then levels are good. DGAS. Is this where it starts going down, Shirley? Isn't this is this one of the NASA velocity shares? This isn't natural gas, is it? Nassau anyway, if it's natural gas, just be careful, right? Because we're coming into the summer months. But it is getting through some, looking at some resistance here. We kind of tracked it here as it was going up, and now it's kind of pulled back a little bit. And so it definitely needs to get over that 111, 112 kind of area, just kind of like you were mentioning there. AGCO. Looking good, nice breakout there. Yeah, I think there's definitely some continued potential. It's got over some major pivots here, so just looking for some more volume to come in. It's just kind of been drifting off a little bit, so just be careful of a pullback back to that 67 level, and then it might give another bounce there. Hey Manoj, what's going on? I haven't seen you in a while. Hope you're doing well. Okay. Just kind of skipped ahead there. So daughter's college was cool, nice. that'll be fun. I hope she picks the best one for her. So, but good for you, man. That's great. SCCO. Wow, yeah, great move there. I mean, incredible move off of this this bottom level right here. Let's draw a fib fan on this one. Nice catch on this one, Shirley. Let's see, here to here. So it's already broken through this fib fan level, and I do think another push up, 42, possibly beyond, like you said, could be pretty strong. ALGN. Here. Okay, good. We've been tracking this. Good. Got through our levels. Actually, we're seeing these Fibonacci levels up here. That reminds me. Let's just take a look at. Let's see how we're. Remove drawing. There. Let's take a look and see how the fibs are looking on the volumetric levels. Okay, so just watch out for the 78.6 if it gets over that. Look at that, it corresponds right to the gap right there. So that level is 290 and 21 cents, 288.85 on the fib here. So watch out for possible resistance there. But if it gets through that, I think you do have a shot back up to 317. Wow, that would be a pretty decent move, I think. So I'm actually gonna put alert on that. Surely that's starting to look pretty good. Okay, awesome. GRFS. All very good. Let's fib fan this. Here to here. Nice gap through the fib fan line. Possible consolidation. Look for a break at the highs of 2019 for another push up to maybe 2053 and then beyond. Good stuff. KMX. CarMax, right? Nice move. Wow, under the radar move right there. Pretty incredible. Right there. That's actually that's worth looking at too. KMax is tradable. It is not an untradable stock. So I'm gonna add that to the game plan as well. Yeah, we'll take those off. That should be fine. So that goes. Nice one, Shirley. And then, FCX. Oh, earnings on FCX. Thanks, NetFry. Let's see, FCX. Freeport Morgan, very good. Woo. There, yes. Holding these levels pretty well, so it's already gotten through that before. So that is looking very interesting. So look for more push to the upside there as well. CVM, JD, and Shop. CVM. Oh, interesting. 82 cents to $4. Surely only you could catch these. I'm telling you, incredible stuff. So, holding these levels pretty well. Nice gap up. These type of ones, though, just be careful, right? You have a little bit of resistance up here. It's kind of a key level right there. Once it gets through there, that 369, it could retest those highs. JD. JD is slowly but surely working its way up. So we have the pitchfork here, right? Just kind of looking at these levels, volumetric corresponding with kind of the pitchfork median line. So, yeah. So that was that. And then Shop. Boom. Remember we were tracking this one, Shirley? So this channel all the way down, guys. Look at that. Perfect. I mean, basically a bull flag. And then this breakout here, nice push, right? For the patient trader, right? Well, for any trader, that's a pretty good move, right? For the patient trader who can deal with that pullback right there, retest of the channel volumetric level confluence right there, that's actually your place to go long, right? And then boom, from what is that, 160 to 209. Shirley, you've been tracking this one too forever. Incredible move, amazing. So yeah, look at that, really good stuff. And then yeah, there could be, of course, some potential follow through. We've got, you can see here another bull flag forming. So boom. Boom. So, yeah, unbelievable stuff. Gotta love it. All right, guys. Well, hey, we made it by 10 o'clock. That's fantastic. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Hope you guys, could see. In fact, let's just take a real quick look here and see how this level looks volumetric-wise. Oops, sorry. I always do that. Let's see what kind of. Look at that, Shirley. Even hear me? Oh. If I go to this level, just be careful. this 210 level is a Fibonacci line, but if we can get through that, you might see that your 252 up there. So hope you guys found that valuable, using the not only the volumetric levels but combining them with Fibonacci's. I think that's pretty significant, because what's it doing, right? When you think about it, right? If these are volume levels, right, we're trying to find Fibonacci golden ratios of major volume levels, right? So it should give us future volume levels, right, into areas. So yeah, so I think that this should be a good tool that could help us all, certainly. So hope that's helpful. At this point, everybody have a great night. Thank you for all new subscribers to the newsletter. We had another great one come out this week, and again, it comes with a free private Twitter feed where I'll trade SPX and some other interesting setups, like our trade of the week or 60 anchors that come up. So check that out, positive-trends.com, newsletter.html. Have a great night, guys, and as always, appreciate it, and we'll see you tomorrow. Safe trading.